Hello YouTube and welcome to the finale of my Girls Last Tour reaction series, reacting to the final 5 chapters of the manga here today. So yeah, this is the end of our little tour, our little journey here today. And I'm excited and sad and everything that comes with ending something like this. Girls Last Tour has been quite incredible, honestly, so hoping it sticks the landing here. Haven't heard anything to the contrary, so that should be the expectation here today, that I'm going to be, I don't know, moved. Something's going to happen. We'll see. Like always, we're just going to jump into some YouTube comments here today. I guess, like, first things first, a bit of housekeeping. There's a poll on the channel. By the time this video is out, there should be 2 polls on the channel. You should vote in those polls if you want to see what replaces Girls Last Tour and what replaces Monogatari. So the first 2 kind of slots of the week, the ones that aren't Girls und Panzer, those are getting replaced soon. And yeah, the poll video should be out by the time this is out. I think that's how I'll do it. Either way, starting here today with Ice CP's comment. In Rimi Down Under's YouTube video on the Girls Last Tour manga, he describes the setting not as the post-apocalypse, but rather the post. You get the gist. Apocalypse. With so many posts, it's hard to count. I think about this description a lot while reading Girls Last Tour. These 2 girls are living in a world where people build giant cities, destroyed the giant cities, and continue to fight even until the final small communities turned against each other. Only then does our adventure start. I think this is a really unique for a story like this because it genuinely never feels like there's any hope of repairing the world these 2 girls inhabit. Because everything is so old, but also so modern at the same time, it gives off a really unique atmosphere too, especially with the amazing art of the mangaka. Yeah, interesting thought here around never feeling like there's redemption here, right? Contrast this with other post-apocalypses, whether it be your zombie fare or anything else in between. There is a hope of rebirth. There is a hope of something coming later that's going to make this better. A shining light in the distance, something like that. The closest we get is we're going to climb to the top and then see what happens. I think almost certainly we could say that these 2, that being Chi and Yu, most certainly like the final humans, right? Maybe there's somewhere else, but the final humans that are relevant to this story anyway. Also, Rimi Down Under, is that a fellow Australian? I'd need to check out the video probably in the post of whatever I'm doing here today. Shoutouts to people that are down under though. Either way, this video talks about the central background conflict between Yu and Chi's main philosophies and who of them wins. I've spoken about this a bit too, but probably less in a direct conflicting sense, just that they have different priorities and have different personalities, I guess. But we're saying here Yu's tendency to not think too much about the future and Chi's, you know, the opposite, right? Calculating, preservative. I guess that's how you would use that word there, sure. Yeah, she's all about legacy and history and leaving a mark and being important. And think about all the stuff with Ishii, if you want more evidence for that. But again, Yu's just go with the flow, Andy. She just does what she wants. Rumi presents a brilliant scenario where if stranded in space with a life on the line right out of your reach, Chito would try everything to grab onto it to live just a little bit longer, while Yu would actively look away and just marvel at the stars. I think that's really powerful, and I think that's what Girls Last Tour is really about. Our world might be ending, but look at this cool view. in a nutshell, yeah, kinda. Yeah, I'd love to see this point here elaborated on a little bit more. Maybe we'll get that a little bit more as we continue here today. Next comment here from Mostly Harmless. I just want to add to the Blizzard chapter a bit. It's probably the most low-key chapter opener out of all the volumes. I'd probably agree, yeah. Oh, we're bringing up a different YouTube video here. Fear of Cold by Jacob Geller. I know of this one. I actually listened to Jacob on a podcast that he does. So yeah, and I would agree that this is where the coldness feels like a threat, kind of, again, along with that bath chapter early in the manga. So yeah, probably leave it to the anime adaptation, if there's ever going to be one, probably not, to probably add a little bit more tension there, much like they did with the bath stuff. You could kind of really feel the cold in a way that you can't really do with the limited stuff manga has, in my opinion. Like, you just don't have the sound and the music and everything else in between. Pacing, I don't know, that's why I prefer the medium. But anyway, I digress. I think this point was brought up twice, once here and once a little bit further on. I am aware of this record, right? Just kind of like that, the Hello We Exist record that was sent on one of the voyages. Yeah. So we're bringing up the idea of, again, like we were talking about before, needing to be remembered, have some kind of legacy, not letting it just float off into the distance, right? Like, if there is some other intelligent life out there, if we push this out into the like atmosphere, into space, there's potential that our record of human experience and whatever will be recorded in whatever galactic scale we want to talk about, right? But again, like it's on Earth. They didn't send it. Interesting, conflicting philosophies there on that matter potentially. I censor Alpha bringing up the very similar point here. Space and Oblivion chapters are some of my favorites in the series. The idea of writing poetry in binary is really interesting too. But again, bringing up our stuff about art and souls and what distinguishes humans from robots, and are they able to make art? What does that art mean in a modern context? Lots of interesting questions off of that for sure. Oh yeah, and then this extra chapter that's apparently released with the Blu-ray, I'll probably do it after everything today, if I remember. I'm going to try to remember. I might even open just Discord now and have it open so I remember. Egon Head remarks that there may be a few more chapters as well. So I don't know, maybe I can track all of these down at some point. I do not know. And last comment here today by Black Rose's Thorn. We've gotten into what are consistently my favorite chapters. Last week's art is maybe top 3 for the whole series. I don't have much to say, looking forward to next week's video. Thank you for continuing with the manga. Yeah, it's good. I'm happy I'm doing it as well. And it's interesting in context with the rest of the channel. I see this as kind of like a proof of concept that I can do manga, right? Because initially, right, I was like doing one of the first things I did on the channel, Land of the Lustrous, right? Like, and people were like, you should check out the manga, it's really good. And I probably still like believe them, right? I just had never done this before, so it was a little bit scary. So I've kind of taken that leap as well. So maybe we can do more stuff like this in the future. And we're back, same deal as always. I'll have that picture-in-picture version in the description for those that need it, or you can follow along at home, or whatever works for you, really. As I said before, there's 5 final chapters here today. We're going to be finishing Volume 6, so no need to stand on ceremony. Let's jump in. I think I said last week that we're like, there's lots of books and fish and what's this shit called? Hang on. What are you called? Library. Okay, there's tracks, there's books on stuff. We're probably going to read at a library. She's probably going to fucking love that. She loves books. Okay, first shot here. Just a full page art of something. Just a kind of establishing shot. Still pretty cold. Icy, lots of icicles. Almost these billowing smoke. Is that what I'm seeing there? If not, they're just fucking something else. But I said it was almost indicative of like where they grew up, like their hometown. Had a lot of that kind of stuff. So again, maybe a nostalgic chapter we're gonna have to see. Okay, what's that up there? Book, the world as will and representation too. Okay, I just looked up that book. That's some smart people shit, and they made a sequel to it. It's made by a German philosopher. He's agreeing at kind of the futility of knowledge in a way of the quick summary I just read. Okay, interesting. She's reading that at the end of the world. Futility. Yeah, let me get this here. In his major philosophical work, The World as Will and Representation, Schopenhauer, Arthur Schopenhauer, reiterated Kant's claim, or Kant's claim, given the structure of human cognition, knowledge of things as they are is impossible. The best that can be obtained are comparatively superficial representations of things. This book is by far the most difficult and challenging book you'll be reading this quarter, says philosophycourse.info. Okay. Yeah, I bet somebody's getting a kick out of that, some kind of smart person, but not me at the moment, not really down on my philosophy as hard as some others. I would imagine the rest of these shots here, we're entering the library. That would be what I would say. The lights flash on. Oh no, we're entering some kind of tunnel. Put that in my pack, okay? One more useless book we can't read. Don't call them useless. This one's actually thematically relevant. I'm sure all of them are, really. Your collection still doesn't compare to the bookshelves in Grandpa's room, though. Thinking back on it, that was an incredible number of books. Well, yeah, especially for the post-apocalypse. You says, like we're noticing something. Chi-chan, stop. Look what I found. A book. Amazing. 2 books at once. What's that book? History of Architectural Geometry? Okay. I'm imagining that's a book as well. Probably less pretentious of a title. Oh, so she found the book. Gotcha. And then put it in my pack. I thought she got it out for some reason. No, okay. So we're finding a lot of books. Library, you would think, right? Oh, look at the big pile. Books. So many books. And she's getting fucking all shaken up. This is great. We hardly ever see Chi like super excited. It's normally the opposite. Like Chi is a bit of the wet blanket to whatever you's excited about. So this is nice. We get to see her like a different side of her, like at least a little bit. I think. I don't know, not that she's always like stoic and super serious, but you know what I mean. Actually, wait a sec. Don't tell me this wall is looks like also a bookshelf. Yeah, it's fucking all bookshelves. To the point again, we're using the whole page for scale. Yeah, it's almost like it's like some fantasy libraries and that kind of thing. Just walls and walls and walls of books. And she's gone nuts. We have to load up on as many as we can. Stack them up, stack them up. Chi-chan, calm down. You'd never fit them all. Look how many there is. Like again, just the different side, right? We're switching roles. Why are you the voice of reason here, of like reality, and she's the one that's like, we have to take them all. But again, like she's been conditioned through this entire journey to take whatever she can get when it comes to books. So it just makes sense to me. With the shelves this tall, you can never reach to the ones higher up, right? There's got to be a ladder somewhere or something like that. So she's on the move. She wants to look at all the books. Fair enough, right? You were essentially in a barren wasteland, some kind of desert, right? And this is the oasis, right? Of course she wants to load up. Oh, there it is. A ladder, or rather, this must be a lift. This is almost giving me vibes of with Kanazawa, right? That lift that we had to use to get to the next strata, and then he lost all these maps. Is there going to be similar drama with this lift? Especially like this mechanism and this like railing. Giving me like similar vibes. Just a little subtle thing as well for atmosphere. I like that they've still got these like condensation stuffs when they're breathing. Pretty cool. Alright, it seems to be working fine. Gives us a bit of a vree. Oh, it moves side to side too. Okay, so it's pretty easy to control, seemingly. 3-dimensional movement, or, you know, 2-dimensional. You know what I mean. And yeah, Yu's maybe playing around with the mechanism, more concerned with that than all the knowledge that's in front of her. Knock it off, Yu. I can't see the books if we're moving, can I? Sorry. Or Gomen probably fits a little bit better. Think there's a book I can read too? Of course not. Why not? Why not? I mean, she isn't particularly good at... There might be some picture books. It's a library. I don't know. At least my understanding is that Yu doesn't have as good of a grasp of the language than Chi does, right? Am I stupid? Is there something in Yu being like you and then Chi like she? Like almost some pronouns there? That's something, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe they weren't thinking about the English implications at all. There are 2 broad categories of book. Books that collect information from people's investigations, and books written from the imagination. Fiction and non-fiction, most certainly. Would there be a third type? Not really. It either happened or it fucking didn't. But both kinds of books are proof that humans lived and thought. That's what Grandpa said. I agree with that as well. There is value in recording something for, you know, a very obvious purpose, right? I'm recording like the anatomy of this bug or something like that, you know, biology, learning things from that. That's important. That's passed down. Those become codified, and then we can make new inferences off of that, right? Also, I mean, I made this channel. I think stories are valuable. so yeah, I'm in agreement. I never really thought about it like that, but yeah, both are pretty cool. Long ago, they built places called libraries and stored many books in them, supposedly. You mean this place is one of those libraries? It could be. Interesting way, like, we're reading this, because originally I went up here, and then went down here. Because that was another big worry that I had with the reading manga thing, is reading some, like, bubbles in the wrong order or panels in the wrong order. Again, like, I was pretty sure I was doing it the right way, but maybe not. Maybe this is technically part of this panel. Maybe. I do not know. Let's try going a little higher. It seemingly is just like one big wall of books. Or maybe there was a wide earlier that showed like multiple walls. Yeah, there's like at least one aisle there. Grandpa also said that if you put together all the words humanity has ever written, there'd be more than the number of stars in outer space. Never really thought about it, but probably, yeah. Especially at their point in a timeline, right? It's only grown in number from now to then, right? And we've gotten to the top here with a clunk. It's almost like we've gotten to the top of our little strata world system as well. Like, kind of mirroring there. Like, is this the limit? Is this the end? The top of the bookshelf, right? Guess this is the highest shelf. Looks like you can climb up. More words than the number of stars, especially in contrast with the kind of the last chapter we did on space, right? The vastness there. This probably quote has blown Yu's mind in a way, right? She's probably seen a lot of stars. There's more words than that, really? Oh, and then we got another wide, so I'll put that in post. There was a couple of issues with that last week. Hopefully they all got sorted out because I had to render the video twice. It was a whole thing. It's like a universe of words, huh? Hey, is all of this things that people thought up? I'm sure it is. And again, so we've already had like a look at one of these book wall shelf things for scale. Pretty fucking big. They've practically been going up for ages, right? And now there's numerous, right? Numerous, all sides, all covered in books. And this isn't even everything. This is all they could salvage, right? That's amazing. Yeah. Little blush on Chi as well that I'm appreciative of. She's pretty cute this chapter. I think she's she's a bit different than normal, right? It's normally the other way around, as I've said. Interesting. So we're going to set up camp on the top of one of these things next, and I should get that up as well. Yeah, we're setting up camp and probably grabbing whatever books we can and having a little bit of a read. How's it going? Find any good books? Get this, there were actually several books I'm able to read too. In this old place? This library might really have books from all over the world. What's that? The thingy that was inside the rocket. Hang on, okay, hang on. What's going on? So, okay, let's break this down. We're making coffee, because package coffee flavor, and then we're going to do like the hot water thing, right? Because that's all we're really doing at the moment is like drinking shit. I don't even know if we have food left. Are we going to go into that? Probably this thing down here if I was to guess. But there were several books I was able to read too. So probably none that you's able to read because they've got words in them and she can't really do that. Again, I'm fully evidencing this based off like the earlier book chapter with the fire. That's kind of what I'm getting at with them making camp as well. It's kind of harkening back to that as well, when they were reading the books by the fire and then you accidentally threw a book in and it was a whole thing. Okay, so this library might have books from all over the world. Book is Okura? Okura. Hang on, I'm fucking zooming in on this shit. Is it Okura? Yeah, Okura. I googled Okura and I found a bunch of shit that's like, oh yeah, there's this manga called Maybe My Son's Gay or something. Hang on. Let me go back to where I was. Yeah, there. Like Okura book. I think our son is gay. I don't think that's what they're talking about here. Anyway, I digress. It's probably not important. We're taking some nutrient tablets from the thingy that was inside the rocket. So we took a thing that was inside the rocket. It said coffee, but also there's this thing that says nutrient tablets. Again, this was probably all planned for that 4th mission. Oh, it's all coffee. Okay. Yeah, I mean, coffee is bitter. I had coffee this morning. It was fucking good. One thing about Australia, you get good coffee everywhere. Good coffee fucking everywhere. Don't settle for that fast food shit. Go get some proper coffee. Grandpa used to drink this all the time. It was too bitter for me, though. It's good. Okay. Weird. That's a bit of a reversal. You would imagine, like, metaphorically at least, you would be the one that would be all about the sweets and that kind of thing, right? Where, you know, Chi would be the one to pretend to appreciate coffee and be a little bit more adult in that way. I mean, coffee is just yummy. It's also got the purpose of, like, a stimulant of like waking me up, but it's also just like good. It tastes good. Oh, this is cute. I'm already kind of read ahead on this one. Hang on. Ah, that's right. I found a book you might like. Huh? But I can't read. Take a look. Oh, look at that. I can not read it, but understand it. Look, it's pictures. This one's non-fiction too. I'm imagining this is some kind of illustrated guide to explaining fish anatomy. Bluefin tuna, something about a biltfish, barracuda, going into the length of the fish, and among other things. I mean, this is just bringing everything together. The whole thing that Yu has with fish, even as we learned last week, her making that fish, like, kind of, like, keychain thing, I guess, way back in the day. Of course, all the stuff with her attachment to the fish in the whole tank fiasco as well. It's all coming together. For sure. This is a book that explains things with pictures. Could these all be fish? I think so, though they're all kinds we've never seen before. They're all great shapes. Oh, she's loving it. Hell yeah. I wonder which one tastes best. Does it always come back to appetite with you? What's the best tasting fish? I'm partial to a bit of barramundi. I like barramundi. I'm not really a big fan of tuna. You can keep your tuna. I don't really want it. But I digress. It's more about other things than how they tasted. If you want like a cooking guide to fish, I'm sure that exists in this vast library as well. Oh look, they're just being cozy again. Hell yeah. Books are amazing. Oh, she loves it. She's been convinced. What did I tell you? Well, we're cuddling up close. It's very cold. Look at these two. They're loving it. I just want to live here. Then let's do it. It's not feasible. You know, collecting books started out as a hobby for Grandpa. Kind of a pause here, too, between the dialogue as well. Kind of like realizing something. And you're right, it isn't feasible. It's very, very cold. You don't have a lot of food. As much coffee as you have, however much that's doing for you right in this moment, you can't stay here forever. No, maybe it was different from a hobby. I guess he made a point of bringing home any books he found while on a mission. Both books he could read and books he couldn't. What for? One reason was to learn different things, but I think there was probably more to it. You know, I think maybe it's all the same. Like outer space and curiosity? That too. I mean, everything. Okay, I wonder what we're going into here. Outer space and curiosity being one of the major themes of the last chapter as well, the one about space. And then I guess the Blizzard one, we're going a little bit into exploration and stuff, aren't we, from memory? Again, that was last week, and I forget everything apparently. Oh yeah, this is all like in summary, right? Okay, so this is the point of everything. Everything's connected via the same thing as books, right? It's all the same. Making maps, building planes, the machines trying to maintain this city. Okay, so making maps, building planes, that's your Kanazawa, that's your Ishii. The machines trying to maintain this city, that's your robots with the tank and the construction robot and everything else, right? Us aiming for the top of it, people deciding to build a city this big. You mean it's all for the same goal? No, it isn't even a goal. Even when you know it's all going to end one day, you can't not do something. You have to be doing something, right? So Grandpa's mission in collecting books, it was a hobby. It was because he enjoyed the process and enjoyed learning new things. But it's also something. You can't be doing nothing, right? You're never really doing nothing. Yeah, this is very fucking wide. This is very macro. This is very philosophical at the moment, right? This is kind of crazy. It's like there's this source in the core of our hearts that spurs us to do things, and they're all connected. I don't get it, says you. Me neither, really. I do get it though. There's like to do things. Everything's connected. Every decision in humanity, even up to this point, has been a consequence of another, right? And those all lead to things that we do. And why do we do these things? Is there some kind of insatiable void for humanity to be doing something at any point? Again, why am I even here, right? Yeah, I don't get it. I know. And wonder, will there be, at the end of that long, long chain of connections, cough is good. Coffee is good. I guess they're abbreviating there. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, we're at the end of this long chain of connections, right? Are we at the end? Is this the end? Is this everything coming to an end? Is this it? We're like literally camping on top of the summary of human experience up to this point, and like we're the pinnacle of it? Is that a big responsibility for us, or is that a relief that none of it will be used again in the future? Again, this is metafiction as well, right? This is the end of the story. This here is the culmination to us meeting everybody in these events that we're listing here, right? Us being here is the culmination of that. And in that similar way, the culmination of human experience leading us up to this point is just that as well, the culmination. Kind of an amazing chapter. A very, very philosophical one. I didn't expect to record this long on this chapter for sure. What is that last thing here? I need this book and this one too. So she's still packing around them books. Okay, cool. She's still being cute. We like that. Well, I mean, this doesn't bode well. So this image here is the first one of the next chapter, chapter 44, and we're depicting the Kerenkrad falling apart. It should be on its last legs if we're talking about this whole tour in total, right? It should be coming to an end, like all things up to this point are coming to an end. I wonder if we're going to continue reinforcing that theme through this chapter. Loss. Yeah, I mean, that seems to indicate where we're going. Alright, it's making some kind of roars and doo-doo-doos and tototos and stuff. It's puttering along. Again, more just like machinery and stuff. Again, I theorized early in the manga, or early in the anime, I should say, that it'll be a little bit more utopian up here. It is in parts, but there's still a lot of machinery, right? We do this a lot, and it's kind of reflected in the anime content as well. The first couple of pages of chapters are just kind of them moving about. Right, and like again, think about it within the anime, right? Normally, a new segment will start with a lot of establishing shots and music and that kind of thing of them just puttering along. Just works, right? Do we start to see it here? Is this a little bit of degradation down in the bottom corner, or is this just rubble, or the art style? Potentially. Yeah, no, it's not. It's going bad. Stuff is snapping. Yeah, okay. This is the start of the end for sure. Looks like we're still a pretty long way from the top, and then the vehicle starts to crash and stuff. Starts to smash apart. I like Yu's like not even paying attention as like literally the treads are falling apart. This is almost some Girls on the Panzer tech. Okay, so we see like smoke billowing out a little bit here as well. Did the track snap? Yeah. I hope that's the only thing. I have a bad feeling. The engine won't turn over. Again, very tactile, as I've explained in the past. You get the ka-chunk and the of the like an engine starting, like trying to start up and then not starting up. Can you fix it? I don't know. I have to take a look at the engine first. Is there anything I can do to help? Not a thing. Oh, I'm kidding. Okay, never mind. Help me remove the cover. If there's anything I can do, just say the word. That's what I said, but now that the cover's off, there's already nothing for me to do. Oh, Yu's just trying to help. Okay. I never really noticed, but yeah, she is definitely the mechanical one, right? She's the one that's like tinkering with the kit and crud way more often. There's nothing I can do. I'll watch from over here. She's like me whenever my fucking dad's working on car shit as well. I'm very bad at that kind of stuff. This part here seems like it's pretty involved. We're ripping like a bunch of shit apart here. Like it's all spreading out. There's a crack in that pipe. Probably, I don't know, some fuel shit. Yeah, again, I just don't know. We're whacking something with a hammer. And the whole time, oh yeah, we got you humming along. Interesting, right? Kind of like she's doing like the singing thing. Remember we were talking about that music being important, humming along. The despair song, all kinds of links into this stuff. Think about the despair song as well with Ishi and how that linked into the Ket and Crud having mechanical trouble. Think about it. Oh, how'd you like this? Okay, so I'm wondering if this was directed at you. No, it's directed at the machine. So it's still like being fucked. And how'd you like this? Like hitting it and then like realizing that, oh yeah, this has been this fucking constant annoying noise in my ear this entire time, which has been you singing along to whatever we have going on. I can't do anything, so I thought I'd at least provide a song. Oh, she's just being adorable. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, how can you be mad at that? She just wants to be helpful. She's trying however she can. She's just fucking singing. It's gotten pretty dark, she thinks to herself, before a large light is lifted over her. I brought over a light that I found. Thanks. That actually seems pretty useful. Okay, so the sun's going down or whatever other natural light we have going on. We're still having trouble, and we need a light to work through the night. Maybe I'll take the engine out. Again, continuing to tinker. It seems like you is tugging on something, maybe building a tent of some kind. Oh no, just fixturing the light. Gotcha. Okay. And then you would imagine this here is the passage of time. So bon, boom, clank, ka-chunk, all sorts of other stuff. We've gone through the night and into the day, and we're continuing to work on it, and nothing is happening for us. Even look at the background here. Big old gear and like other gear and stuff. I don't know, the background showing a bunch of misplaced like gears probably isn't a good like omen, right? Hey, want to take a bath? Huh? I do, but it looks like a bathtub like this, right? Okay, so we're gonna get in the shell of the Ketencrud and use it as a bathtub. Think about bathtubs. Think about all those links to paradise as a concept as well, right? Using a very practical thing like the Ketencrud that's gotten us to where we need to go so many times, reducing it into its new purpose, which is just to give us a momentary pleasure in having a bath, right? I was thinking we could turn it into one. Eh? What about the engine? The cylinders are cracked and the drive shaft is warped. When I fix one thing, another thing breaks. Its life is over. You tried operating, you operated through the night, and to no avail. It's fucked, basically. This was me today. I don't know if you can see it on my ear there. See that little gap between like the fluffy part of the earphone and the hard part? This was my thing that I needed to fix or need to fix soon. It's like ripping apart. How am I supposed to record with my headphones not working properly? It's fucking ridiculous. Either way, it's kind of similar. Kinda. Okay, what do I do now? You start piling snow inside. Oh, I see. Okay, so we're going to use the last part of the heat energy of the engine, whatever that means, to melt the snow and make a bath. Okay, is that what we're gonna do? Again, I've talked about this metaphorically, about what a bath means in this context, and again, taking the nicety, the current pleasure, what we were talking about before? Like looking at the stars, admiring the view, rather than thinking about the practical consequences of the future. This isn't preserving for practical purpose. This is taking like pleasure in that, right? Taking a pleasure in this moment, trying to turn a negative into a positive. We won't need most of this fuel anymore, so we'll drain it and soak the extra cloth. Okay, so what are we doing? Okay, I don't understand this practically. What are we? Okay, so we're draining the fuel. We're soaking it into a bit of cloth, right? And then is that cloth going to be below it and act as a fire below it? Or are we just warming it up initially? So we've got the fuel-soaked cloth. We throw that in there, and then we, get the snow next to it or something. Again, they have turned it into a bath. It probably doesn't matter how logistically it happened. But yeah, we've plugged up all the holes. It's warmed up. Incredible. We'll submerge this board and then get in. You really are a genius, Chi-chan. Yeah, it's literally the corpse of the Kettencrud and we're just having a bath in it. That's pretty dope. That's pretty fucking metal. Oh, now we're getting a bit sad. Okay. Chi-chan? And then the drip, and then we notice the drip is tears. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's go through it. It's literally been with them on the whole journey. It's been almost their third character. If we're talking about the constant being Chi and Yu, then the third constant has to be the Kettencrud, right? Between all the other people that have come and gone within this journey, right? And we're saying goodbye. One of the last gifts from Grandpa as well. One of the last kind of mementos to him, in a weird way. Probably he owned the vehicle initially, maybe? I do not know, but you can imply as such. I definitely believe this reaction is what I'm trying to get across, right? It is emotional, especially for Chi. She's been driving the thing the whole time. Oh, and as always, we're cutting to a big wide, and we're crying out even louder, right? The background becomes way more apparent here, as it should, considering it's the main focus of what I'm looking at. Big old gears, bent, broken, frozen in time, not working as they should, overwhelming the scene. The characters are a small part of this. The world is overbearing on them. This concept is overbearing on them, especially Chi. Very well constructed, right? Like, it just looks fucking good, and it tells the story. What more do you want out of manga, basically, right? Yeah, this is incredible. This is one of the best things I've seen so far with the manga. I think this is really, really good. Oh, and then more cute stuff. Okay, so they're just like hugging it out. You helping Chi through this tough moment. I know I'd been thinking about drinking that stuff. This is the last bottle. Hey, you, sing that song, the one from earlier. You want a song? Okay. So we resorting to alcohol. Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to judge. Yeah, so we've kept one bottle of beer. I would imagine, does this say beer? It is untranslated for me, I cannot tell you. And yeah, instead of the song from before, annoying her, now it's going to comfort her, right? The kind of... the two ends of music in a weird way, right? And again, I talked about it earlier, the link to the Despair song and the Ishii stuff and building that Kettencrud or repairing it and all that kind of stuff, right? Like links to early in the story. Culmination, coming to the end. Yeah, we're drowning our sorrows. Yep, drinking pretty heavily. That's good. And then, yeah, touching the handlebars there, touching almost the speedometer even maybe. Thanks for everything. A personal connection between the vehicle and Chi. You, of course, singing the whole time, and then Chi joins in the chorus, I think is implied by those speech bubbles. This most certainly was a loss. And guess what? I just noticed that I didn't have that up the entire time. Very cool, me. Very, very cool. So I'll put those images in post, and hopefully we'll be all okay about that. There we go. Singing the whole time. That's what the speech bubbles mean. And yeah, touching that kind of speedometer there. Very cool. Yeah, this is pretty sad. It brings together a lot of concepts from, the rest of the story. I think this is very well executed. This is probably one of my favorites so far, for sure, along with Oblivion. I thought Oblivion was really good from last week. Of course, this is going to be emotional. I've talked about it. Kind of the third character along our journey has been the Kettencrud. And yeah, it's perished. It's done. Here it is. It's all just scrap now, left. We're just going to leave that as well. We're not going to pack it up because who fucking cares? No one's going to care about it. No one's ever going to see it again. You might as well just leave it as it is. And yeah, we're only going to take what we can carry. and move more towards the top. We still said that there's a fair distance to get there. This becomes even more perilous now that we don't have the car to, you know, fall back on, right? There's nothing left. It's just us now, and whatever we can carry. I think I'll take this piece of it at least. We're going to keep the key as a memento. Remember talking about mementos before as well? Lots of cool stuff going on, huh? Interesting. To my knowledge, it ends at 47, and 45, 46, 47 are considered one long part, much like the end of the previous volume. So probably won't be directly connected. Kind of similar to last volume, won't be directly connected, but kind of directly connected, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, it connected conceptually, even if not events-wise, right? Similar to how, like, Oblivion and all that stuff with the robot and the light and that led into the backstory stuff, and how those concepts linked into themselves and human conflict and preservation and everything else in between, right? And wanting to die and wanting things to end. Will we get similar concepts explored here? We're going to have to see. Looking at this, two girls holding hands. This is one of the spirals. I don't know. It's pretty obvious stuff. This is like the end, and we're quietly accepting it, much like the cover of the manga, right? The cover of this volume, I should say. All right, this first chapter is called Sleep, and seems pretty cheery from what the first thing I'm reading here. I haven't dreamt at all lately, probably because I'm exhausted. Walking the entire day wears me out so much that I fall asleep right away. The next moment, I'm awake from the cold. Are we truly alive when we aren't conscious? Aren't we dead for that moment? As I think about it, the line between life and death seems hazier and hazier. Is that what we're getting across here? Is this like the journey of the girls dying? It's not good. I don't want them to die. Well, they're probably going to die, let's be honest. But, like, I don't want them to die, like, on page. I don't want to see that. That's bad. But it's interesting that we're bringing up this concept already. It's in the mind, right? The line between life and death seems hazier and hazier. You, wake up. That frightens me a little. We're using a zaku for a crunch of the snow. I guess that's evocative, sure. Again, upward slope would be way easier with the car, scale, lots of stuff. Still looking up, still quite the journey to go, you would imagine. Yeah, look at that, right? If anything's going to tell you scale, that's going to tell you scale. And immediately we're put in the shoes of the characters who have to climb up these kind of slopes each and every day to get to their goal. Of course they're going to fall asleep right away. Heavy. Some Amoy, maybe. Using my Monogatari knowledge. Hey, Chi-chan. What? We're not going to use this gun anymore, right? Can I throw it away? Chi's thinking about it. Yeah, just keep a few cartridges. Got it. Bye. We chuck the gun away. Okay. And again, I've remarked throughout the series how Yu's always quick to grab the gun and point it at whoever's a perceived threat, right? So that's gone away, right? There is no other threat perceivable here that would be killed with a gun, right? Like, we're the only life left. The only thing that's threatening us right now is the elements, which of course you can't, like, shoot in the face. You didn't have to literally chuck it. Yeah, but I would feel bad leaving it behind. So yeah, we've chucked it just into the ether beyond, which again wasn't really necessary, but speaks to Yu's potentially destructive tendencies. Look at the eyes here. Yeah, we're getting fucking pretty sad pretty quick, huh? Like, look how tired they look and agitated, right? Again, upward slope, always upward slope. Look at this slope here under the foot. Look at this, very tactile again, climbing up over this. Things that we could potentially drive around had we had the vehicle to do so. But two girls still hand in hand working together, getting the job done. Yeah, this would be a montage in the anime where we're seeing them traverse various obstacles and stuff, right? Like shimmying across this edge here and like other things. Yeah, and then she's struggling, right? So the thing's always been like, look how much extra Yu's carrying. She's always been the more athletically gifted. She's been a bit of a nerd. Of course, she's struggling now that she can't just drive the car. Going back to it, probably what this is getting across as well. These eyes, right? Tired, can't really keep up. And as we see more and more, Yu's going forward, Yu's helping her up. Kind of hand in hand here. And then, yeah, really struggling by this point. Oh, this is cute too. Look, she's like pushing her up. Fantastic. Love that. Look how tired she is. I wonder who suggests let's stop here for today. You would imagine you. Yeah, okay. Cute. they're just besties, and I love it. Yeah, okay. This is, yeah, really selling the relationship between these two here today as well. Okay, so we're kind of hidden within this crevice. It's really slow going on foot, and our packs are heavy. They sure are. It really was thanks to our ride that we were able to survive this long. What was that thing called again? A Kettencrad, I think. We never did run into anyone else driving a vehicle. Ours might have been really valuable. Gets at the journal. According to the map, once we finish climbing this outer wall and get inside, it's a straight shot from there. We won't lose our way. Okay, so we're within reach, right? There is a goal in mind and we're pretty close to it. We're climbing this outer wall, but as soon as we get inside, it's pretty straightforward. Hey Chi-chan, is it just me or are there more books in your pack than before? I've got the ones we picked up at the library, so... you picked up more back there? Well, there are a lot of rare ones. Chi-chan, I know, I can't walk with all of these. So, okay, Yu's thrown away the gun, something probably pretty important to her and something that, again, they're not going to have use for anymore. And, like, you're not going to have use for these books anymore, really. Let's be honest with ourselves. Probably not. You're going to have to get rid of them so you're able to walk better. Or hike better, I should say. So let's save our fuel and burn the books fast. Oh, so yeah, again, direct connection to when we were so worried about burning the books before. It's a change of philosophy. It's a, like, let's just get this done. Yeah, we're literally bringing it up. That book, the one you scorched. Kappa, I remember looking that up. Kappa, was it? I'm surprised you remember. I remember because you got mad at me. It wasn't that I remembered the book for its content or anything else. It was its connection to you and that experience that was important. The canned fish is pretty heavy too. Let's eat that first. Okay, so we're going to prioritize different kinds of foods, probably the heaviest first. Hey, what kind of book is Kappa? I'm not too sure myself, but it's a storybook. This person goes to a place where strange creatures live. The creatures have this kind of plate thing on their heads. Yeah, like a kappa. Plate on their heads? Is that like Ket's parents? I don't know what you're talking about. I think that might be a little different. They might have been Kappa. You might be right. Whatever you say, whatever makes you sleep at night, guys. It's happy to see we still got a bit of rapport going here though, right? Making the best of a bad situation. And now we get a little bit monotonous with it. Still the same shot of them crunching up the hill, walk, burn, sleep, walk. It's becoming more and more obvious that this is cyclical, right? That this is something that isn't going to stop very soon. Like, we talked about this earlier as well. Like, what are we beyond just using resources, right? How are we providing utility or value? All we do is just kind of exist. And what is the value in existing just for existing, right? Yeah, it was the issue stuff from memory that we talked about this. Bit of legacy to it. Yep, walk, burn, sleep, walk, burn. It's getting pretty gnarly out here too. Look at the weather. Look at the snow piling up on their clothes here. Burning more stuff. These little like hidey holes. You would imagine like inside this fucking weird thing. Is this another robot corpse? More metaphors fucking everywhere. Oh, this is sad. Oh, look at the eyes. We're gonna burn your journal too. I'll rip out the map notes first. Okay, so we're going to burn the journal but keep the map notes. The flapping of the journal. What we need right now isn't the pages of books, yeah, but warm water from burning them. Damn, this is getting fucked. This is getting fucked up. Yeah, this is where we're getting into like the elements really affecting them and like really struggling to get to the top. And again, getting to the top for what purpose, really? I think I've been afraid of forgetting all along, of this gaping hole opening up in my memories, like a deep, dreamless sleep. Yo. This is fucked up, but it's okay. We wake up every day. We're still alive. And yeah, this is potentially us making it to the top, into like breaching the wall and getting inside. So yeah, let's talk about this, talk about legacy, right? And talk about being remembered, leaving something, posterity, proof we existed, all these other things, our hierarchy of needs. We're getting rid of all of this now as we progress further down the pyramid, right? We need shelter, we need heat, we need food, we need all these other things beyond this self-actualization step of it, right? We need to get all these base needs out of the way. We're putting our priorities in the right place to survive. Again, much like I've talked about the first humans and the last humans, this is almost like again, humanity progressed to the point where we could focus on these needs, right? Of writing journals, of philosophy, of thinking about things, and blah, 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 blah. back in the day, again, they were just trying to survive. It was just cavemen fucking trying to make ends meet, basically, right? Like, oh yeah, we need a fire, and we need water, and we need food, right? We need shelter. This is what we're regressing back to at the end of humanity. There's definitely something in that. Cool. So now we're on to the next chapter, Silence, which again is the same suite of 3. Second to last chapter, the penultimate. Stuff's crumbling, falling to the floor. This big hole in the wall that we see here, it's still like all falling apart, really. Our packs are getting smaller and smaller. We're holding this lantern, progressing further into the crevice. Oh, this is like the cover. Right, gotcha. So this is the spiral staircase, like the last ascent up to the last strata, right? We're still climbing up, though. Always up. Thank goodness it isn't that cold inside. How is it? Your last coffee heated by the journal. Oh yeah, I should talk about it back here when the like coffee is so good. It's literally like based on the heat of it, of all their memories up to this point, of everything that was recorded in that journal, is feeding them in this last step of the journey. Again, just works fantastically well. It'll be okay. You have a good memory, Chi-chan. Yeah, you're right. You won't have a good memory if you're dead. That's all I'm gonna say. Again, I love the sound effect work in the manga, right? Like, again, in the anime, they have a really good sound department overall. I talked about that a lot. But yeah, they had a good bass here. The car, as we're like tapping up these probably cold, rigid stairs, ones that haven't been used in a long time. Yeah, the final climb, right? Lantern in hand, 2 girls walking into the trepidation into the unknown, right? Hand on the middle pole as we're still progressing up. Car, all the way up to the top. And the lantern goes out. Like, sizzles out. Now what? I don't want to use the stove's fuel. I guess we're going to have to keep going in the dark. Ooh. Maybe harkening back to the stuff in the dark from previous portions in the manga. I'm thinking specifically the stuff in the temple. Chi-chan, let's hold hands. So we're going to keep one hand on the middle and then one hand in each other's hand, and we're going to make it up the stairs. Again, light turning to darkness. We'll talk about it here as well. Another pretty ominous sign about death, of drifting into a deep, dreamless sleep, nothingness, the void, the blurring between life and death is hazier and hazier. Did we even die potentially back here? Is this some kind of afterlife that we're in right now? Metaphorically, I don't know. Yeah, we talk about it here. Hey, Chi-chan, are you afraid of dying? Yeah. Takes a minute to think. Yeah. Me too. I think everybody's afraid of dying. At least a little bit. I'm afraid of the dark. You never told me that. Did I never mention it? A long time ago, I was all alone somewhere dark and cramped, and I get the sense I was really scared of it. A long time ago, I was still a baby. Well, I mean, again, there's anime content to reinforce this with the connection between the darkness and not being able to see the light, and that being connected to chi, of course, right? Of course, that also having some religious implications and potentially linking that into afterlife. We're kind of cooking here, if we're honest. Maybe even before I was born, in the fucking womb, you were scared of the darkness? I don't know. I can't imagine it's very light in there, but I've never really thought about it. Yeah, I can't remember it directly. I only feel it. Oh, really? I know. Let's take our gloves off. But it's cold. We can put our hands in my pocket. Where's your hand? Right here. Then we're holding hands. That's all very cute. So, despite it being like pitch black and talking about like being scared of the dark and everything, despite everything, we're still going to like take the gloves off. Human connection, human touch, right? Warmth there, contrasting against the cold. Hands in each other's pockets, like we're, that way inclined. But I digress. So long, a long staircase that keeps going and going. I'm losing my feet. You and I both are so tired that neither of us says a word, and we just keep on walking, keep on trucking. You can't even really camp here, no? It's kind of fucked up. We've lost everything on this journey. The vehicle, the gun, the books, the journal, and now we've even lost our light. The sound of our footsteps reappear in the repetition. Is this what it means to live? Coming from darkness and then returning to darkness. Cyclical, as I've been talking about, right? First humans, last humans. Great darkness, big bang, light, right? The creation of life as we know it, right? Is that all going to, on a grand scale, die eventually? Is there going to be nothing again? Does that mean there's going to be light again? Not necessarily. And yeah, again, in summary, right? In summary of everything we've done here, in summary of human experience almost, what did it all mean? What did it mean to live if we're just going to return to the darkness again? Is it only the momentary moments where we're experiencing that happiness, right? The stop and the smell of the roses moments. Use hand shakes from time to time. When I squeeze back with a little pressure, she squeezes mine back again. It's okay. It's okay, Chi-chan. I know. Kind of fucking tearing up. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, this shit's fucked up. Holy fuck. Damn. Okay. We've become a single living being now. Maybe we were all along. If so, if that's really how it is, my hand, Yu's hand, the cold air touching our skin, the buildings outside the city, the sky stretching above, in this way, the whole world is touching. It's like the whole world is us. And yeah, put in the image here, but I'm not even sure that I need to do so because it's very blank. It's a nothingness. It's a darkness, right? Again, everything that we've done up to this point, this is the culmination. How many times can I say it, right? Every single thing that's connecting us, if I go back a page here, right? If I can. Like, we've become a single living being now in the same way that, so if we're touching hands and that makes us a like single being, the cold air is touching our skin, that cold air is touching the buildings outside the city and the sky stretching far above, potentially like the whole earth. This is the culmination. It's all touching us, touching hands right now. Again, how direct do you want to get with your metaphor? This is literally the end of the world right now. We're watching it. Like, it's the end of everything, the end of life. And yeah, there's our summary. That's what everything got us, right? To this point. But in that darkness, we see a small light. Ah, light. Just a weird line. But anyway, they're holding hands and they're walking towards the light. What else could this mean, right? This isn't a hard one. This isn't like the difficult tier. It means they're dying, right? They see a light in the darkness. They're walking towards the light. What else could that mean? They're walking further up and up and up. Think about the links between the heavens and heaven, right? And how that linked to our weird mushroom people as well. And them being angels, harbingers of the end times, and anything else in there in between. Yeah, I think they're dying right now. I think this is their last step, pardon the pun, of life. Oh, and then there we progress to the last chapter. Last stop. Last stop? I wonder what that could mean. Probably death. I'm nervous. I can hear my heartbeat. My chest hurts. But yeah, we pop out the top, and we've got another wide page here. Again, probably not even much to talk about. We both just pop our heads up, but at different directions, and it seems like there's nothing but a void. Maybe? There's a little something here. I wonder if that's something that we'll talk about. We're going to have to see. This is the top? It's got to be, because there's nothing above us. Yeah, we finally see that night sky and all the stars. Think about it. The space stuff building into the theming of this volume for sure. And again, very cohesive, right? Between volumes, between the entire text and this. Like, very, very cohesive ending so far. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I'm just running on the snow, running out into every different direction. You running to the top of the stairs to try and get a better look. Do we see something here? Are we running off to the distance to see something? What's that? Looks like just a black slab. So a black slab is all the way up here? Then to commemorate climbing to the top, let's break out some food and we don't have any more. Then we'll use water. We're going to cheers and drink some water. Okay, black slab makes me think of the frickin' thing from 2001, right? So again, if we want to link it into... Okay, so monolith is like... it means all-encompassing, right? One stone, right? So even Stonehenge is made up of like monolithic structures in a weird way, right? And of course, linking in its medium meaning, right? In 2001, it's literally, isn't it the moment that like... separates the creation of humanity from what came before it. I think that's what it's meant to symbolize. I've never seen the film, but it's always like the monolith and then all the monkeys fucking jumping around and shit. Like, anyway, more to the point, like monolith means all-encompassing. Like a monolithic something over society would mean that it's homogenous. It's not open to new ideas. And a monolith being at the end of this is metaphorical for what it represents for the story, I think, right? This is the encompassing of all of our ideas. This is the summary. This is the pinnacle. This is the top. And still, at that very moment, we're going to sit against it and enjoy a glass of water or a little bottle there. That says something, I think, right? Unless this black slab turns out to be something else. But I'm running with the monolith idea for now. I think that's plenty. It's plenty enough to talk about. Oh yeah, so here we see you taking off her helmet. Chi-Chum, why don't you take off yours too? Yeah, good point. There's not even anything left to fall down at this point. Remember the helmet stuff. Why do we wear a helmet? In case something fucking falls and smashes my head in, like a giant death robot. Well, now that's not a worry. There's nothing above us anymore. We don't need to worry about that. Unless like a fucking meteor hits us or anything. But like, again, you get the metaphor, right? Hey, did we do the right thing? What do you mean the right thing? Maybe we should have turned back sooner, or maybe we should have made a different destination. Then maybe we could have found a place with more warmth and food. Then we could have survived, right? You could have survived everything. Potentially, right? Find some seeds, find some good land out there, maybe try to regrow everything and everything comes up anew, right? You know, we had one of those potatoes. We could use potato to make more potatoes, right? I think that's how it works. But yeah, again, we're not about surviving. We're not about preserving what we have right now. It's about things ending and letting it end and everything coming to an end and everything else in between. Like, this is it. We're not trying to survive anymore. We're not... we achieved our goal, and in doing so, maybe it killed us. But we achieved our goal as well, right? Either way, we get our answer to the question here, right? We could have survived. We take hand out of hand, Yu runs away, and gets a big old snowball in her hand, and then pegs it at fucking Yu's head. Okay, so again, implications to the very start. Like, what's the earliest point chronologically that we saw their relationship? They were literally having a snowball fight. The world's ending, everything's ending, our lives are ending. Fuck it, let's have a snowball fight. If that's not the you know, the meaning of the manga here, like in as many words, in essence, right, condensed, then what is, right? Yeah, it keeps on throwing more and more snowballs. Look how fucking chuffed she is here. Throwing more and more, back and forth, back and forth. We don't know that. What we should have done, why the two of us are alone in this world, I don't know the answers, but we're like jumping into each other here again. But living was the best, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. All right. Of course, put the image in here. We'll talk about this one quite a bit. So we finally made it to the top. There's nothing obscuring the sky. We can see the open sky in front of us. What's the whole meme about light pollution, right? That you can't see all the stars and all everything else, right? Well, there's no light pollution, right? There's no nothing. We can just see this night sky. We can see out into the fucking universe. And living was the best, wasn't it? Yeah. And again, metaphorically, we're dying at this moment. Where the lines between life and death are hazier and hazier. We could literally be dying right now. We probably are, let's face it. And we said, hey, we lived a good life. Even if there's no point in prolonging this shit, right? Also, I think I've talked about this before. If they're the only two left, heavily implied, they literally can't continue life because, again, they're both women. So, like, you just can't. That's not how that works. So yeah, this is the end of humanity, looking up into the same night sky that probably the first humans looked at way long ago, linking it into the star stuff from the space chapter and the whatever else is beyond, and the want to explore and the curiosity there and everything else. It's all coming to a head. Even talk about some streetlight shit. This looks like the streetlights kinda too. Think about it. The light in the darkness. When we think that it might not be worth it, the rest of it might not be worth it anymore. We still see that light in the distance and we go and pursue it. And we search for it again and again and again. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. It looks like stars falling. I was scared. Scared I'd disappear without ever knowing anything about this big, wide world. But when I squeezed your hand as we climbed up those dark stairs, I felt like the world and I had become one. And then I realized, seeing, touching, feeling, that's the whole world. I know what I'm saying doesn't make sense. I get it. Okay, I don't really get it. But I mean, I get it, but I don't really get it. This is kind of the end of Chi's arc in a way, right? The search for knowledge, right? The search for posterity, the search for legacy, the search for meaning, right? And everything else in between. But when I realized that I was holding your hand in the darkness and like everything was connected in that moment, again, we talked about it before, everything was just us. I realized that none of that shit fucking mattered. None of it mattered at all. So again, if we're talking about, like at the start of this video, I talked about there being a conflict between Chi and Yu. This is Yu's side winning in a way. This is Chi admitting defeat. And then Yu gets it because she got it the whole time, right? That's what she got this whole journey. I feel like I wanted to say that for the longest time. That's sharp for you. You wanted to say like these feelings, that everything was connected for the longest time. Yeah, Yu's winning. Yu's running away. It's game 7. She's going too crazy. She's ran away with the victory. That's sharp for you. Ah, the sun. Let's try going to the edge. That edge looks close. Whoa. Now this is reminding me of the stuff with the big red sun and the wavelengths and that kind of thing, right? And yeah, now we're just sitting at the edge. Not quite on the edge, but just, you know, almost at the edge. Almost at the ending. Another big old wide shot too. Do you really think there's no one else under those clouds anymore? Who knows? But I bet there's no one. Then we're the happiest people in the world right now. I mean, by elimination, yeah? Makes sense. I'd be 1 and you'd be 2 maybe. I don't mind being 2. Ah, but that would make you the unhappiest person in the world. Heh. And then they start fucking laughing, and I can't really laugh very well. Yeah, they're both simultaneously the most happy and the most unhappy people in the world. Very funny. What do we have left again? We should be able to make a little more hot water, also the knife, the lantern, rope, wire, and the one explosive we set aside. You have the bullets for detonating it, right? Huh? I have an explosive too. Yeah? That's not an explosive. What does it say? Solid rations? Oh shit. No, you don't have an explosive. Also, I should be doing this too. I've done this twice now. Oh no. Yeah, but we're going to cook up one more time. Some solid rations. The last meal, right? You can do it. A little more. Trying to get the fire to start. Then the trickle and the tear. And this time it really is our last. Yeah, having a bit of chocolate, right? Okay. Yeah, like again, linking it to one of the first chapters where they were eating this ration and then like trying to split it or whatever, and they had their little fake fight. And they're enjoying it. They're enjoying the last moment and not thinking about anything else beyond that. Living in the moment or whatever else in between. Hey, what do we do now? Beats me. First we eat, get a little sleep, and then we'll think about it. Another thing I thought about. Okay, remember the chapter about the spiral? I probably should have talked about that like way fucking back, like here. Because that's what like this represents as well. And then even way back here, like that's the spiral, right? Monotonous, going around in a circle, climbing up. Very cool. Let's get back to where we were now. Yeah, all the stuff about the spiral and what are we beyond just our needs to eat, sleep, and you know, do whatever else in between. But yeah, we're 2 cozy little so-and-sos at the end of the world just snuggling up. You can almost say this is like a love heart too. I see it at least. Like a little bit. And yeah, I don't know. What else will happen now? Seems like we closed our eyes and we're zooming out super far. And more far again. And more far again to the point where this is another double page. Yep. Zooming out. And then next one again. Zooming out even further. Even zooming down now. This is another strata. Right? These buildings and that little part there, that reminds me of going into, you know where Ishii said the food factory was? It reminds me of that segment for some reason. Just does. And then what's this? This almost looks like some art or something. Okay. I don't really get this. But yeah, it reminds me a lot of the hologram and the art we saw in the museum, that one piece. Oh my god, the one piece is real. And then down below, this is in the ocean, is it? And we see these statues, one of them looking up. See the submarine? Almost like the submarine from earlier as well. And there's the shore. There's the ocean, which we talked about a lot. A human corpse, which I'm sure is, you know, very, very good omen, right? Listen, if you're under any false pretenses that they're alive, what does this human skeleton tell you? I mean, metaphorically, I mean. Yeah, and then at the very top, we have, like, big old fucking spiral staircase still standing above everything. and the last campsite they made, and whatever the fuck this means. What does this mean? Okay. This is like the robot language, right? And they went to bed. So they went to sleep. We'll figure it out tomorrow. It's very cold. They're out of food. And, like, everything's fucked. And somebody's written in the robot language, or they've uncovered a piece of this monolith, and it says something in the robot language. Unless I'm being stupid, I don't get anything else we could read off of this. Then yeah, like the last humans were reading this as language, these like weird misshapen stuffs. And if we go back to that one shot of all that art, I think it was art, and this is kind of what the hologram looks like as well. There's that kind of geometric connection. But yeah, I mean, it says the end. We've got an afterword here. So yeah, in the wake of this ending, I've had a little bit more of a think about what it might mean and my certain interpretations for it. So I've got two or three main lines. So my first line is following off my monolith idea, right? So I did some research and actually read up on the plot of 2001 and what the book's about and all that kind of stuff, right? So monoliths, at least certain critics' interpretation of the monolith in that story, is a next step in human evolution, right? Is a, like, because in the start of 2001, it's like two tribes of like ape people or whatever, and then one of them gets like a tool based on a bone, and then that springboards off into evolution and blah 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 from there. And then towards the end of the film, I guess spoilers, they have like the main character guy who's like the spaceman, and then through everything that happens, he sees the monolith again, and then, you know, the big old ending with the fetus in space or whatever, right? Another transition, another evolution potentially as well. So you could apply that logic here. They're resting up against this monolith, touching it slightly, and then they've transitioned to another plane. Whatever that plane is that plane the next step? Is that based on all of our sci-fi technological stuff? Did they become somebody that can be interpreted through the robot language or like a hologram or something to that effect, right? Like that is one interpretation for sure, that they've progressed to some higher stage of evolution in a technological base and they've left their last message on this monolith. Another interpretation is, of course, that they're just dead and they're going to stay dead, and the last thing we ever read from the human experience is something from a robot. And is that an interpretation there? Is that an indictment on humanity? Is that a talk to what progresses beyond this? That being robots, that being technology, that being whatever else. Of course, the third interpretation, and the one that I was linking into the most, is the religious interpretation, that this is the afterlife, this is paradise. They're currently sitting above the clouds. They've climbed these stairs, this monotonous circle. They saw the light and they went towards the light. That would certainly link into a lot of the religious subtext to everything and the understanding, and the temple chapter from very early and how that linked darkness and light and the mushroom people and blah 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 blah, sucking up all the different technology, leaving the planet dormant, everything else in between. Then you could talk to the connection between the stars and the heavens, and you know the kind of connections between the first humans and the last in that way, in that they're looking at the stars and they're interpreting that in a religious lens. Also, back on my monolith theory as well, like the stars and the space definitely give credence to that idea as well. Of course, the, you know, first humans, last humans idea as well. First humans see that monolith progress to, you know, being actual humanity, becoming man, and then seeing that monolith again at the end, and then progressing past humanity, past life as we know it. All of these things and more could be true. I would love to hear more interpretations, but that's basically what I've gotten from it, because I felt like this area of the video was a little bit scarce, right? Where, you know, it's a big old zoom out, it's a big old, like, this is scale, shows a few things, like robotic paintings, a few of the statue angel things below, a human corpse, the stairs leading up to the top, and then that segment of the robot language. So what does it all mean? I'm not going to pretend like I know completely, but that is my interpretation. We're going to leave it at that, I think. This world is so massive and complicated that many things pass us by without even knowing, but no matter what, Chito and Yuri believed that the joy of living would never pass, and I want to believe that too. I think that's what I had in mind when I drew this. Probably. Thank you for reading my clumsy work all the way to this point, Sukumizu. Thank you. Thank you for making it. It was very good. Yeah, so it kind of snuck up on me. I was expecting way more pages based on my amount of pages in my thing I'm reading off, right? But then it's like 2 pages wide, 2 pages wide, 2 pages wide, 2 pages wide. So I didn't really when it's like, oh yeah, we'll think about it next time. I didn't think that would be the last line. Oh shit. Yeah, and I mean the last one there is just like this is the thinger. Translation, amazing by the way. Thank you, Amanda Haley. And the lettering by Jean-Michel Lee. Sure, I'm trying with the Chinese stuff, but anyway, yeah. I mean, that was really good. I don't know what else to tell you. It was really, really good. Just how everything came together, and I think I expressed that in so many words, or at least I hope I did. Yeah, and it got to me at certain points. It made me want to cry, which is good. It was like a happy cry. They're just such good friends. I don't like that. I like these two girls. They're really good friends. Literally like the end of the staircase. Literally like that human corpse on the ground. I think we can imply that they're not here anymore as well. This was the end of their life. The line between life and death is getting hazier and hazier. When did they die? I don't know. Lots of stuff, right? It was a dark night before we saw a shining light in the distance and walked up it. And then we're in some kind of white place above the clouds. Like, think about it. Just think about it. There's lots and lots of evidence there. But yeah, I mean, I could check out that one chapter now. Oh, so this is when Nuko was around? Hey, Nuko, that's not for eating. You're eating a robot? Okay. It's a machine. They could be small too. Little machine running off. It's going inside that building. Not that it's the right way, but it was trying to escape. Maybe that's its home. Don't disturb it. Let's just have a look. It got up on the desk. What is it doing? It's defending itself. Oh shit, Nuko, watch out. Hey, you two, stop that. Chi-chan, look. Did it write all of that? This is the machine's language, isn't it? Think about it. The machine's language that we saw on that monolith right at the end of everything. It's burned into the table. They don't get along very well, Nuko and the machine. Their fight reminds me of something else. I don't know the word for it. Ah, they look like you and me, Chi-chan. Yeah, a little bit. Of course, Nuko's always been connected to you as well, right? These look more complex than the ones we've seen so far. The patterns are beautiful, but I wonder what they mean. Poem! Oh my god, machines writing poems? We talked about that as well. I should probably even do this. There we go. That's a little bit better. Maybe we can read that a little bit better now. Stop snapping, OBS, you fucker. It's a poem. A poem, huh? Hey, did you become friends? After talking a bit, we understand each other now. Of course, Nuko's got that connection where, like, they can read machine shit, right? And unlock shit and all sorts of other weird shit. The power of words is amazing. What's a poem? The power of words. No, it's when you want to say something that can be difficult to describe with regular words. I guess. Yeah. Poem? I wonder how I would describe a poem. Like something put together to... Like an artistic expression of written language is poetic, right? And art meaning, conveying meaning, right? So this conveys meaning through words would be a poem, in my opinion. Hey, is that poem something it wrote itself? Apparently it learnt it from this person. And that person is the hologram, or at least it looks like it. Another person? Oh shit. What's this manga deck shit? Hang on. Bro, just let me go to the next page, please. But we don't know how to read it. Maybe there is a way. This poem here was originally written by humans. Hold on, let me write this down. Don't be sad, the night is coming soon. And then, above the pale land, the cold moon looks like it's laughing at us in secret. Let's hold hands and rest. Don't be sad, the time is coming. And then we'll rest. Our small crosses will be standing side by side at the whitish roadside. And then the rain falling, snow, the blowing wind will all go away. Yeah, I mean, that's that's in summary, right? That's what that's what's happening. Yeah, I mean, that's very direct, and definitely is ancillary material that probably enhances the ending somewhat, at least a little bit for me. So yeah, that was cool. I like that extra chapter as well. So I even thought even more about the ending again. So now I'm thinking like, I was barking up the wrong tree by trying to interpret it so hard, considering that it kind of resists meaning and a look for meaning in the ending, and it's probably a little bit more about the absurdism side of it, which we've talked about before. That, hey, doesn't really matter where this ends or how this ends or who this ends for. What matters is that it occurred and that it was a fun time in the moment. It was an entertaining time in the moment, and trying to analyze it from the perspective of figuring out what happened to the characters is kind of in conflict with the rest of the text. So that's another lens you could take it for. Add that to the bit from before where I was talking about the different lenses you can analyze it through. Okay, I'm done now. I'll turn it off. And then I guess just some in summary stuff. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think it was pretty obvious to say that I liked it. I think the things to like about it are pretty obvious as well. It's really well written. The characters are really good. The setting's amazing. The setting is almost like another character in of itself. I like it on a macro sense in that I think that it speaks to philosophical concepts and structures and things that I find personally intriguing, as well as moment to moment succeeding in the dialogue, in the characters connecting and me buying their relationships. I wouldn't have felt the way I did at the end of this thing if the relationship between those two characters wasn't as strong as it was. They're two kindred spirits. They're connected, right? And at the very end of things, it stayed the same, right? It was the same till the very end. And yeah, I would love to see some more stuff about what you guys interpreted the ending as. Because what I interpreted it is like one thing, right? I am one boy, right? You know, it's pretty wide spanning. There's a lot of influence into it. Clearly the mangaka read a lot of philosophy and that kind of thing. Like there's a lot here. There's a lot of different lenses you could take. I kept it pretty, isolated textually. I tried to keep within things from its own text. There was a few tidbits here and there where I pulled from other stuff, but clearly there's references all over this thing to various things in philosophy and stuff. So more thoughts the better. Please express them. I'll try to reply to YouTube comments and do that kind of stuff. But yeah, this was obviously very good. I'm very happy I ended the manga. I'm very happy I reacted to it and all that kind of stuff. It was just good. It was just a good time. Thanks for being here, basically. And I think with that, we're going to close it out. Again, there will be a poll, should already be out, so vote in it because it's free to vote in it. You just have to join Discord to do so. And yeah, I mean, I'm signing out. But as I've said, this was really good. And I hope I've expressed that across however long this video ends up being. But yeah, just my chill stuff. So if you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord. Join Discord. Love Discord, 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 Discord. And yeah, this is wrapping up Girls' Last Tour. Thanks for being here. It was really good. I want to keep reiterating that. And hope you stick around with whatever's on the channel next. Or any of the other stuff that's on the channel, anything else in between. I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm going to say goodbye now. Thanks for watching. Ciao.